Welcome to the 5-Year You podcast, a show dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself one day at a time. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kat, and we promise to keep it raw, real, and relatable.
Are you ready to grow? Hey 5 Tribe, today's episode is called How to Find More Time, and it's something we could all use a little bit more of in our lives. How are you doing today, Kat?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am great. I think this is just a topic that I know there's the quote, we all have the same 24 hours, but of course that's just a real oversimplification of stuff. So where would you like to start with this?
I want to chat about the fact that all of us feel like we wish there was more time. I think about parenting, like the days are long, the years are short. I think about people who have so many goals they want to accomplish and they look up and another month has gone by and they can't believe it. And I think there's a lot of kind of shame around this topic. So I want this to come across as encouraging to our listeners while also giving them some actionable tips on how to be more intentional with their time.
I really like that. I think saying that, we all have the same 24 hours doesn't help, because all it does is just make us feel like, well, what am I doing with mine? And how come this person can do this and this other person can do that? But the truth is, a lot of times we guilt ourselves around the time that we don't spend on things because we just don't really want to. I don't spend hours cleaning my kitchen every day because I really don't like cleaning my kitchen. And that's just makes it a messier kitchen. But there's the shame that comes in from that. So I think part of the, we always talk about mindset on the show, and that is always a big part of our lives, because how you view something is really how your internal representations are the things that create your outer representations. So when we have a client come to us and they say, I don't know where to find time, what's the first things you usually start with?
I mean, with everything that we talk about, we always say that awareness is the first step, right? And so, I downloaded, we keep getting our apps mixed up. What's my app called? Opal.
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 Yes.
I downloaded Opal, and it is a screen time blocker on my phone, and it gives reports. And it was sort of amazing to me because when it read my report from my iPhone of my screen time, it was basically like, you're going to spend 2 decades of your life on your phone. And when you have it presented to you like that, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend 2 decades of my life on my phone. Yeah. And then every week it tells me congratulations, you've gotten 7 years of your life back or something like that. And it was really eye-opening for me. I knew I was getting distracted by my phone, but actually having that concrete data was very eye-opening for me. And then installing the app to kind of block it has been really helpful. Yeah. So awareness, I think, is the first step.
Okay. So you're making this choice. I'm going to use you as kind of the coaching client on this. So thanks for volunteering. Thanks for not volunteering on this. I think when you have that awareness and you go, okay, I know I'm spending too much time on my phone, or I'm spending too much time watching shows that I've seen a million times, or I'm just spending too much time staring off into space and avoiding the things I do. You got awareness. What is your next step with that? Because when you said 2 decades on your phone, that was a gut punch to me. It was
really
ouch.
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, really was. And I think about all the things I want to do in my life and all the places I want to travel and how I want to grow our business and all the memories I want to make with you and the kids. And I'm like, whoa, I do not want to waste that much time. We don't get that much time, right, on this rock here. So awareness is definitely the first step. And then I would think that it's good to write down what you want to do in the time that you're missing. We always say kind of having those concrete goals is really helpful, because everybody can just make a grand statement or a general statement. Oh, I want more time with my kids. But I would say to write down more specific ones. I want 30 minutes of quality time one-on-one with each of my kids every day.
That makes sense. So you've gone through this, you've got the specific statement. 30 minutes is a lot more. It's a big time chunk.
Yeah.
So I mean,
we could do baby time chunks too.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because I was talking about self-care in an earlier episode, and how you're supposed to have an hour of it a day. And, the idea of carving out an hour for anything in your day, in your already hectic, busy day, is just doesn't feel feasible. So when it comes to the kids, like, do you specify like, hey, 6 to 6:30 is this kid's time, or is it more of a I'm going to be present with them during different moments, smaller moments of the day, so I feel like I'm kind of doling it out on an
Yeah.
even
Well,
basis
I
as the day
definitely
goes
think,
on.
just an example, I think I'm very big on quality over quantity. Like, I could sit with the kids all day long and not have any quality time. So if we were speaking to a coaching client, I would encourage them to make one point of connection a day. For example, our daughter had orchestra this morning, and so that means I had some one-on-one time with our son, and we did the Wordle. We do like the New York Times puzzles. We did like the Wordle and connections and strands together, and probably took like 15 minutes, but it's something that we did together. So I would call that a point of connection. Even like when they battle it out for the front seat in the car, I try to like hold their hands on the way to their activities and things like that, give them a little squeeze, just a point of connection, right? Still, like to say goodnight and put them to bed at night. That's a point of connection. So I would encourage our coaching clients maybe to make a goal like that. That way, there's not this instant feeling of failure if you don't get the exact 30 minutes or something like that. So that was just an example, but I think you asking the second question and suggesting the micro moments is actually a little bit more effective for people.
Right. And I like that because that feels way more manageable
Right.
than saying, okay, I'm going to do this from this time every day, because inevitably stuff comes up and our
Oh,
days are not
yeah.
usually the same, and
Right.
activities and everything else.
So true.
Yeah. So I think there's certain things that we all need to incorporate into our day that we don't. I think movement is one of them. Most of us are very sedentary. We're all sitting at, not all of us, but a lot of us sit at desks. I know you and I do.
Definitely the
And
two people hosting this podcast have a
yeah,
lot of computer time
yeah,
every day.
yeah, exactly. And but that's our reality.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of like, standing up 12 hours a day like our fitness trackers do is great, but that's like 1 or 2 minutes a day or an
Mm-hmm.
hour. One of the things that our friend Eric at A Mind for All Seasons suggested for me is he called it exercise sipping. And every hour he was getting up and doing like just a little bit of an exercise. He's like, I need to move more. I'm sitting all day. I want to be healthy. And what he would do is like, I would go on like a 5 minute walk, or I would do jumping jacks for, a minute, or squats or push ups or plank or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he found by doing that, he was feeling so much better, because exercise is always going to make you feel better. But the act of like just feeling that success of like, I'm taking care of myself. I am squeezing in this minute here or there to make myself feel better and make this commitment to myself doesn't feel so onerous as when you say like, I got to go to the gym for half an hour every day to do this.
I think that makes sense because so many people, I mean, think about it like how we're all supposed to drink, what is it, 8 glasses of
A
water a
classes.
day?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to drink water throughout the day than to be like, oh, snap, I didn't drink my water, and to try to drink 8 glasses of water while you're sitting in one sitting. But we know this about drinking water, but we don't think about it with exercise. It's always got to be this big rigmarole like, oh, I got to go to the gym and I got to get my outfit and I got to get my shoes on and do all this stuff. And so I love the idea of just having a quick walk. For me, I walk to pick up the twins from school. And so for me, I think yesterday I did like a 12-minute walk because I just walked around the block like a couple times before picking them up. That was it. That was all I got in yesterday. But if I could do that twice a day, or if I could, stop midway in the morning and lift a couple weights or jump on the rebounder, to me, that's much more manageable too. And I'm not going to beat myself up as much because even if I get one little tiny thing in, I'm still like, I did it. I kept the habit up.
Again, that's awesome because you're encouraging yourself rather than beating
Right.
yourself up. And we talked about that last week, how it's just better. You just keep encouraging yourself as you do these
Mm-hmm.
things. When you are doing other things, like what's something else that you kind of find challenging to find time to do on a daily or even weekly basis?
Yeah, I mean, question of the century, right? I mean, I find it challenging to like do it all the things in a day. And I've often said that depending on the day, sometimes I feel like I'm either a really great mom or a really great worker, or if I find the times like, oh, I did a really good job taking care of myself today. But I often feel like I cannot get all three in one day.
Mm.
And so for me, it's not like a specific thing. I mean, we talked about, trying to weave in the workouts or things like that. But for me, it's just trying to hit all the marks on a daily basis that contribute to a healthy, happy life.
I like that. I like that. And thank you for your honesty, of course. I think you are doing a really good job with it. I know the critical voice will always come in and say you could have done more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, just feeling enough and feeling worthy comes in. What is your favorite time hack? Like, what's the one that you're like, this makes so much sense. I love like, the fit in the walk in as you go to and
Mm-hmm.
from school is such a genius thing because you're already out doing it. Why not just stretch it out a little bit more? So what are some other hacks that you love to do?
It's not like a time hack per se, but because I'm on a journey of self love and increasing my self worth and like just trying to make my life better in general, that's what we do here at 5 Year You. One hack is that I think about how nice it's going to be for my future self. And it's so many little things. Like when I got the groceries in, I cut up all the strawberries. And it didn't take me long. It took me like 15 minutes. But I told myself this is going to be for like morning Catherine tomorrow, who's like packing school lunches and doing all these things, who's, putting some strawberries on the kids' yogurt in the morning. And like, the me of the mornings of this week is going to be so happy with me today. And the same thing, it's like if you love getting in a made bed and you just like don't feel like it, you're like, oh, if I take this 5 minutes, like future me is going to love me right now. For like, I don't know, I put like one of those heatless curler things in my hair last night. I was so tired. I was up late working and then I didn't want to do it, but I'm like, future me in the morning is going to be so happy when my hair's already done. And so I don't know if that's a hack per se, but it's more of a mindset shift. As somebody that's trying to do nice things for myself and care about myself, think about, oh my gosh, future me is going to be obsessed with the me of today and so grateful.
I love that. I think you did actually have a hack in there too. I love the mindset thing because that's one of the biggest things is with the 5 year self is to think of them as like your future boss, that person you are accountable to and doing those things. And that person can be even like you said, morning cat. That's like, thank you so much for doing the washing and cutting the strawberries because that's not something you want to do first thing in the morning, well, at least for me. But the hack that you touched on there was the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And like making the bed was like, this is going to take me less than 5 minutes. I'm going to go do it now rather than think I should really make my bed all day. I haven't made my bed. I haven't made my bed. That just sticks in your brain. When you get something done, it kind of floats out of you don't need to think about it anymore. You've checked that box and you're able to just go, okay, one more thing. And that stacks accomplishments, checks the box. It does all these little things inside of you that's like, look, I'm somebody that makes my bed every morning. Look, I'm somebody who gets things done. I'm somebody who goes for a walk. One of the hacks that I like to do is finding dead time. And dead time can be one of my favorite ones is when the coffee's brewing. I usually make like an espresso in the morning. It takes like a minute or two for it to do its thing. And I'm just standing there staring off into space, tired because, I haven't had my coffee yet. And I just started realizing like, look, this is like 2 minutes of dead time. It's not anything that I'm not doing anything productive. I'm just going to plank or I'm going to do some squats or I'm just going to get my body moving, do some jumping jacks. But the idea is that rather just standing there staring off into space, I move and I feel better about it. It might, moving always makes you feel better. But this dead 2 minutes, when you think about it, like, okay, so I make 2 coffees a day. That's 4 minutes. So that's like what? 4 times 7 is 28. So that's like almost half an hour a week that I am standing there staring off into space, which happens to be a half-hour workout.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a really, really easy thing to look at and do. And I didn't have to, go to the gym. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to use what I had in front of me and do it. So I think there's a lot of dead time we can look at. What are some what do you think are some other dead times are?
Well, first, I wanted to say I actually think knowing how much time things take is another good hack because I know that I like like blow up the time in my head, right? I'm like, that load of laundry, that's going to take me hours to fold. That's going to take me forever. So I'm just going to like grab my clean clothes out of the clean clothes basket all day because surely I don't have hours and hours to fold. But when you and I fold a load of laundry, what is it, like 10, 15 minutes? I mean, it is like nothing. It takes
Yeah.
no time. But in my head, it seems so much bigger than it is. And so I try to apply that to work or, same thing. You're like, oh, I don't want to clean the bathroom or whatever. Do that with the dishes. I've timed myself doing dishes. It's like no time. Like it takes me no time to clean the kitchen. But when you're standing there and it's at the end of the day, and you had all these responsibilities, all those dishes in the sink, it seems like it's going to take you to the end of time. It really does. And so having the knowledge and knowing, okay, all right, sis, you're being a bit dramatic about how long this is going to take. Like seriously, yeah. Got the snort laughing. Yeah, that like 35 minutes tops, for the whole kitchen. And you get those counters in there too. It's just not going to take that much time. That's really helped me just kind of be real with myself.
Like
A
it.
lot of dead time, what people ask us a lot is how we read so many books. Andrew and I, we each read about, I don't know, 50 books a year or so. And we love audiobooks. And I listen to them just all the time. It only takes me 5 minutes to drive from home to my daughter's dance class. I put it on. I go to pick up a kid early from tennis and there's like 4 minutes to go before tennis lets out. I put the book on, and honestly, before you know it, a week or two went by, you're jamming out, you're listening to your book for a few minutes before bed or while you're folding the clothes or doing the dishes. And like, before you know it, you've read 50 books this year. And, those are other like little dead times, little pockets of time that it doesn't seem like it, or it seems like it's a good time to like do a little scrolling or whatever. But like, those are little moments that you can take that add up.
I like that. I think you nailed it. That part of your brain that's saying it's going to take too much time. That's just your brain's way of preserving energy, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what it's designed to do. It's going like, no, we can't do that. We might need to fight the lion later. We might need to, run from a tiger. Something might happen. So let's not
Yep.
fold the laundry so we have that energy. And the 5 minute rule is great. The dead time stuff is super useful. I think another really good hack that comes up is the audiobooks were a really good one too. That was just a game changer for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think another one is stacking, and
Yeah.
and we kind of alluded to that with the coffee and driving in the car and listening to books. But there is often a time where you can do more than one thing. For me, I love cooking in bulk. I
Mm-hmm.
bought just this giant flat of mushrooms,
I
and
was about to say the mushrooms lasted forever.
they did. They lasted like 2 weeks. I
They're
froze
so
some. I kept some
good.
in the fridge.
Yeah.
And it took maybe an extra 5 minutes of cleaning those mushrooms that I would have to. But, you put them in the way I cook them. It's just like, I'm not doing anything super fancy with them. I just did a bigger batch. And you can do that with, we've also switched to using an Instant Pot, which has been
Oh
a
my
huge
God.
time saver.
I heart the Instapot. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Like we've gone from never making rice to making it several times a week just because it's like three ingredients and a button and
So
it's done
easy.
in 5 minutes and you can go do the other stuff. So these are little things. And I think when you start to adapt or adopt a how can I fit more in rather than how do I carve it out, you're going to have more success because you're going to feel like you kind of trick the system a little bit. Ha, I don't have to go to the gym. I'm doing squats while my coffee makes. Ha, I don't have to,
Yeah.
sit and read. I can have someone read to me. Ha, I can do all these things. And I think when you start to do that, you can actually fit a lot more time into your day. There was something else that you and I talked about on this show, and we didn't want to time shame everyone or anything like that, but you
Yeah.
were mentioning about the village and stuff like that. Do you want to go into that for everyone?
Yeah, we both follow the holistic psychologist on Instagram, and she's a very, very popular psychologist. And she posted something, I think it was a few days ago, that said she hated the phrase everyone has the same 24 hours in the day because not everybody has the same village. And I think about I have friends whose parents live nearby them. They help out with the kids. I don't know. Everybody's got a different situation. Some people are solo parents like us, and then some people have full-time help, and some people have, earn more money than others. And so they have more expendable resources to hire help or to pay for conveniences like grocery delivery or, picking up fresh food or whatever it is. And so I wanted to bring that up because I didn't want people to listen to this podcast and think like, oh, I got a habit stack and I got to squeeze all the minutes, because we're also big proponents of rest and meditation and having time, to breathe. And if you want to stare off into space while you're curing brews, like, that's a solid choice. That's totally fine. We're just here to support you on your journey, whatever that looks like. But if you were somebody who wanted to do more, or who, wanted to better your habits, or who wanted to make the most of your day, and you came across this episode, we still wanted to give some actionable tips. But for a lot of people, Andrew, a lot of it's going to be like, if you're over stressed and you feel like you need to do all these things, sometimes doing less of the things can improve your mental health and lower your stress levels too.
I agree with that. I think there comes that point too about intention.
Yeah.
And I think when a lot of us feel bad that we're not doing as much as our neighbors or the people we know, or the shiny Instagram people, I think there's a guilt that comes in and we go, why am I not doing that? And the truth is, and this is kind of hard to hear in the beginning, but it makes a lot of sense. And it's actually freeing when you allow yourself to take it in, is if it was really important to you, you would do it. You would make time for it. You would make time to write the book. You would make time to, start the business. You would make time for whatever you're not making time for. But there's something of you that either doesn't feel you're worthy of it, or just is kind of like, that was just a dream I'm still holding on to, and maybe I'll get to it later. And that's okay too. But there are seasons of your life, and some seasons are very busy. And if you don't have a lot of support, you might not be able to. J.K. Rowling, you were telling me, like, she wrote every night because when she was a single mom. I can't remember.
She was a single mom, yeah, when she started the Harry Potter series. Yeah.
So here's someone who did this, but that's because it was really important to her. And we all can look at that and go, well, I don't sit down and I don't do this big thing every night after my kids go to bed. But that's not your path. And that's okay. Just be honest with yourself, going, you know what? My path right now is about self-care. And for me, self-care is just decompressing at the end of every day, because I need to do that. That is what is actually important. So don't time shame yourself, and just be okay kind of saying like, look, there are things I want to do in life. Now is not the time. I'm going to hand them to 5-year me to start them in 5 years. And if I feel called to start them earlier, I will. But that's okay. Just accept that you are where you are and embrace it. You'll feel a lot better about that.
I love that. Yeah, folks, there's a reason that we call this podcast 5-Year You and not 5-Hour You, right? The task that we give to all of our coaching clients in the beginning is just to, like, close your eyes and imagine what you want 5-Year You to look like. How do you want your life to look like? Where do you want to wake up? What clothes do you want to put on? What does your house look like? Where are you living? And sometimes just allowing yourself to sit and daydream about that can reveal how you actually want your life to look. And then you can work backwards from there. Okay, well, if I have this kind of job, then I'm going to need a promotion, or I'm going to need to switch employers. And so maybe for 10 minutes a day, I'm going to start looking for jobs and seeing what sort of qualifications they're asking for. Oh, I might need this other certification. Okay, well, let me look at that. Like, just little bits a day, because change doesn't happen all at once. It comes in these micro moments. And so hopefully we've given everybody some tips on how to make the most of their time, but also permission to give themselves some grace and to be present and enjoy things as they go on.
I love that. I think that's a great place to wrap it up. So now we are moving on to our glimmers. Catherine, what is your glimmer for the week?
Oh my gosh. I feel like the week is so glimmery. Honestly, my glimmer today, I already said it, was just getting some one-on-one time with my son. He loves those New York Times puzzles. And although it's like early mornings when I have to take the other twin to like band and orchestra, like, it's hard to get alone time with twins. And they're always there. They're always together. Everything is just kind of comes in like, packs of two, right? And I think this is true for all parents who have more than one kid. Like, it's just kind of precious and to get that one-on-one time. And so I'm looking forward to having that tomorrow with my daughter.
Oh, I love that. My glimmer this week is actually the same thing. I got to spend time with my son yesterday, and my glimmer is that he's such a good shopper. Like, and by that I mean he needed clothes. We went in, he knew what he wanted. We went into one store, we tried on several things that he needed, and I think we were in and out in like 20 minutes. And I
That's
love that he
shopping for
knows.
you.
Exactly. It's like he knew what he wanted. He tried things on. He knew what he liked, what fit right. He didn't like what didn't fit right. And it was just nice, fast, and easy. And I always enjoy any kind of time alone with any of the kids. It's priceless.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna echo what you said. It's really nice to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone, and we hope that this helped.
Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Hey guys, quick disclaimer. We're podcasters on the internet. If you need to seek professional help, please go see your healthcare professional.